Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope everybody's positive. Remember, download all my links at Risky6877 on Twitter. That's where I keep them all. Got my book, Missing Treasure by Chris Alexinas, ChrisAlexinas, and my other book, Coffee and Cash, with everything I teach, I talk about, and that I give. Today, very important. I haven't been over this yet. I wanted to make sure I got it in here. Sometimes you have to spend money to make money. And sometimes you have to lose money to make money. And I got a couple examples, a couple of stories about that. The reason why this is important, it's one of the hardest lessons in business. Everybody's goal in sales is to always beat the next quarter. Everybody's business is to beat the next quarter. That's what investors want. Even if it's just a penny. We'll never get rid of the penny in the United States for two reasons. First of all, people like the penny. They like the penny. They save penny. They collect pennies. So pennies are important. The second, if you beat last quarter by a penny, you're winning. Sometimes a Fortune 500 company or a small business only gets 1 penny more than last, but that's enough. It shows their effort, shows they're trying. We never reward second place. My father used to say, second place is the first loser. You always want to show the effort, the time, and everything you get. But what you're ignoring is that is not always sustainable, and neither should it be always sustainable. There are some times you have to take a loss. When you play chess, everybody always refers to chess because it's a big deal. I don't think it's that important. I think it's a boring game. I do play it. Never excited me that much. Probably that's why I'm not very good at it. But I do know how to play. But I also know sometimes, and a lot of the really excellent and awesome chess players understand, sometimes you have to lose spaces, sometimes you have to lose in order to win later. And a calculated loss can pay such advantages later. Now, I have one story about that. This deals with Tiffany's, and this is over 20 years ago. So Tiffany's, which is, very big company, very big brand, very important. One year, they sold silver bracelets for $10 to teenage girls. Very important. Now, the goal of selling these bracelets was not selling bracelets. Even though they sold a lot of them and made a huge profit on them. The goal was to have these teenage girls, then 5-6 years will be 20-year-old girls, become familiar and enjoy the brand Tiffany. So that when they are 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and they find the man of their dreams or the partner of their dreams, that they will insist that partner will get them the engagement ring or their jewelry or their Valentine's Day gift from Tiffany's. It would be a good memory. It would be a good seed to plant as a starter. Now, what happened is like I said, it was very successful. A lot of teenage girls bought it. A lot of teenage girls were flooding the store to get it. Now, it came the next year. And the question was, do we continue with these bracelets and even add more charms, more bracelets to them? Or do we stop selling it and get back to our core of selling to sophisticated older women who usually bring their not so old, but 20, 30-year-old daughters with them, and they get that familiar habit? Now, the problem is, if you stop selling these bracelets, you're going to take a loss. You're removing a product that's very popular, that did excellent sales. And it really wasn't all or nothing. Because if you didn't have enough, then you would get bad word of mouth. If you discontinued the item, then they understand it's discontinued. So you're not going to get bad word of mouth. So it's one or the other. You got to either stop altogether or continue and expand. And you're going to take a loss if you stop. They decided to discontinue the brand. Now, their overall objective was reached. And I guarantee you, a lot of those girls 20, 30 years ago did get their significant other or even bought for themselves jewelry from Tiffany's because of the memory they had about how much they loved that. But that next quarter, they faced a substantial loss. But it goes by the old axiom. If it doesn't matter 5 years from now, it doesn't matter more than 5 minutes. And they were risking diluting their brand that they would not be as big if they did not take that hit. And as you know, Tiffany's is still going strong, still doing it. So they made the right decision at the time. So they took a calculated loss in order to get more money later. And like I said, they did achieve their goal. They took a financial hit for a bit, but they did achieve their goal. It goes to the other thing. Why, when the Yankees are in the playoffs, and I forgive you if you're not a Yankee fan, that's fine. You could use whatever team, because this is pretty much universal too. If the Yankees in the playoffs, they lose their second or third game. Always the second and third game, unless they're fighting for the playoffs, they're going to lose their second or third game right before the playoffs start. Why does that happen? Well, it's because if they're already in the playoffs, they're going to rest all their starters for the playoffs. They've already been playing all season. You don't want to risk an injury. And you want to see how the new guys do, because you may need them for the playoffs. You may need them next year. Now, you're probably going to take a loss because they're new. They haven't really had much playtime compared to your stars. But you want to see how they play. You want to see if they're good. Just because you lose doesn't mean that Joe at shortstop was a bad player. He might pull off some excellent plays, but because it's an overall team that has not played together, has not had much practice in actual game time, the possibility of loss is really, really can happen. But you learn so much information about them that's valuable. It's valuable later. Tiffany's Yankees are willing to take losses that are calculated in order to get paid dividends later. Sometimes it's a necessity, and sometimes it's an advantage. Knowledge is always power. And about spending money to make money. Cabela's. I don't hunt. I don't fish. I've been to Cabela's 20 times in my life. Why? The store is amazing. It's beautiful. It's got a hall of deer. Their plan is the polar opposite of freaking Walmart. Walmart spends as less as possible. Walmart won't pay for boxes if they don't have to, and have employees stack and struggle to save money. Freaking Cabela's will pay $1,000 on a display. Why? Their customer, their guest, are dads. And so far, they're the only company that's able to reach that. But that's their core. Dads that hunt, fish, do that. If they have to pay $10,000 for a mountain inside their building to get a dad to go inside there and buy a gun, buy clothing from them, buy from them versus the other guy, guess what? And dads go in there. Dads go see that mountain and they buy stuff for them. They are able to reach them. Not everybody can do that, but they spend money to make money. And they make far more than the $10,000 mountain that's on the inside. Probably more than that. I never looked it up. So, sometimes you got to take a loss. Sometimes you got to spend money and make money. And I gave you examples on that. Have a really great day. I hope you're learning. If you like what I say, hit the button to subscribe. Learn. Remember, all my links, download Atlas Earth. All my links are on Risky6877 on Twitter. The only reason why I have Twitter is for that reason. And look up my book, Missing Treasure, A Coffee Cash by Chris Alexinas on Amazon, Alexinas. Have a really great day, positive attitude, because I've never seen a negative person say, successful person say, I was really glad that I was negative that day. Positivity always wins.